According to Femi Falana, the legal representative, never in the history of this country has it happened as operatives of the Department of State Services, the DSS, on Friday morning rearrested the convener of the hashtag Revolution Now, Omoyele Sowore, and his co-defendant, Olawale Bakare, barely 24 hours after their release. They are currently being detained at the DSS office in Abuja. The DSS is yet to disclose the reason for their rearrest. Sowore was rearrested following an earlier attempt by the DSS operatives to arrest him inside a courtroom of a federal high court in Abuja. Where is this eventually headed? Is there a lacuna in the laws that grants bail? Is there a capability of him being at risk in this country? Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com and on Facebook as well. We've got all our platforms on social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation. Let's get your thoughts in. Still on the unfolding events of Mr. Sowore, the Revolution Now convener earlier in an interview with Channels Television before his rearrest today alleged that the Department of the DSS threatened to kill him. He said this after his release on Thursday night. Mr. Sowore and his co-defendant Olawale Bakare were released when Justice Ijoma Ojukwu of a federal high court in Abuja gave an order at the scheduled commencement of the defendant's trial on charges of treasonable felony. What does this mean in all the rule of law and disobedience to court orders? Can arrests be made in courts? Is Sowore a threat to national security? The Kano State Governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, has signed the new Emirates Council Bill into law. The bill seeks to create 4 new emirates in the state. The bill was passed by lawmakers of the Kano State House of Assembly. Ganduje said that the creation of the 4 new emirates will bring development closer to the people of Kano State in connection with the needs for sustainable socio-economic development for the state less than 24 hours after the Kano State House of Assembly passed the Kano State Emirate Bill 2019. Now, what does this mean to the traditional institution in the country? We will analyze this further starting right now. It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and across the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. So much is happening so fast in this country today. For instance, in the far north, in Kano State, the governor declared free compulsory education, which also seeks to integrate the Almajiri system of education with orthodox Western education, tinkering with capital punishment to curb kidnapping, and the latest one, of course, the signing of the Emirates Council Bill in Kano State. Let's dive further into this with caution as we look at some of these vexed issues. The governor of Kano State, His Excellency Abdullahi Ganduje, joins us from Kano. Many thanks indeed, Your Excellency, for joining us on the program. So much is happening in your state. Let's begin with education. Your plan is to somewhat fuse the Almajiri to Western education. What's the success rate so far since you made this declaration earlier in March? Your Excellency, if you can hear me, I was just asking you about the rate of success since you've tried to kind of fuse the Almajiri system of education with the Western education. This is what you started sometimes in May during the year. How successful has this plan been?
Thank you very much for this very important question. First of all, Kano state government has declared education to be free, compulsory at basic and secondary education. The reason behind it is for affordability, accessibility, and inclusiveness in education. Along the line, then there is the issue of the Al-Majri system. The Al-Majri system is a very old system of education, that is Islamic education. But in order to integrate it into the modern system, we need to discuss with the owners of such schools of the Al-Majri system. And we have succeeded in convincing them that there is a need for the integration so that the children will be able to attain their highest capacity in education, and also they will be able to learn some skills for employment. Therefore, what we have done, there are two issues there contained. First of all, for the total integration, such Al-Majris are now in the conventional primary schools. And then there is another stage, that is the partial integration. We provided teachers in those Al-Majri schools to teach English and arithmetic, so that they will be able to take common interest. But this is just a transition. Gradually, we have to integrate every child into the normal school system.
Well, considering the growing number of Al-Majri schools now, it's widely reported in just about every other media platform, you have that coupled with a population explosion. How concerned are you vis-a-vis your policy to make this work? Is it able to accommodate these growing numbers of even out-of-school children?
I cannot hear you well, but you see, Kano State, we have the highest number of Al-Majris, and we have the highest number of out-of-school children, because Kano being the commercial nerve center of the northern part of Nigeria, and even the commercial nerve center of some West African countries, you find most of these Al-Majris are not from Kano. Many from the northern part of the country, and some from Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. But equally the same, since they are residing in Kano, it is our responsibility to provide them with education. That is why we decided to do the integration. And it is succeeding because the owners of such schools have accepted for modern education to be taught into their schools. We recruited 700 teachers that we posted to these Al-Majri schools. And now we are recruiting 3,000 teachers, additional teachers, to post them to these Al-Majri schools. But in some cases, there is total integration where the Al-Majris are being admitted into the normal school system. And it is working because it is encouraging. And since the education is now made compulsory, from the report that I received so far, our schools, classrooms are overpopulated. So the next target, which we have already planned, is for massive expansion of the school education facilities.
Okay, Your Excellency, let's talk about the Emirate Council bill, which you signed into law just yesterday. Now, how is this going to work? Because what you said is that you want this to bring about development to the people at the grassroots in Kano State, but the emirs can only advise through the office of the governor. You stated this in part 2, section 6, subsection 2 of the bill you signed yesterday. Doesn't that contradict the aim of setting up this and signing this bill into law?
Well, first of all, the philosophy behind the additional Emirate councils in Kano is based on, one, the demand by the people of Kano State, especially those areas. If you could recall, during the time of late Muhammad Abubakar Rimi, the former governor of Kano State, about 30 years ago, that issue was considered a very important socio-economic issue, and Emirates were created. But at that time, the governor did not follow the constitution, and he did not back the Emirates by law. Therefore, it was easy later on another governor came and changed it. But now what is happening is that these people are putting a lot of pressure on government in order to create these Emirates again. So based on that and based on history, also based on, in order to widen and deepen the participation of the traditional institution, we decided to create these new Emirates. And I'm happy to say that the people are very, very happy. And if you look at the institution itself, it needs to be, reformed in a way that there must be a lot of participation of the institution in governance, so that government programs can be properly implemented. We have already declared education to be free and compulsory at basic and secondary school, and this will require, of course, the participation of the traditional institution, like we discussed with them. And also, if you look at the prevailing situation, the security situation in the country, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, you find that the participation of the traditional institution is very, very important. And that one, too, they are actively involved and they are convinced. And that is why we decided to sign, this law made by the State Assembly. Initially, we had a problem because the methodology followed by the State Assembly was faulty, and therefore, when the issue was taken to the court, it was nullified. But having noticed that, we accepted the nullification, and then we decided to follow the procedure. The State Assembly followed the procedure, and we started by taking the issue to the State Executive Council, which the State Executive Council approved, and then we sent it to the State Assembly, and 99% of the legislators approved it. I think there was only one legislator that walked away, but all the rest agreed, and if you can go there and check and see that they all signed, for this law. So we are happy that these new Emirates will work hand in hand in government in order to implement government programs.
Okay, Your Excellency, we're going to go on a very short break, and when we come back, I'll ask you more questions in this line, especially with regards to the hierarchy. Will Rano, Gaya, and Karaye, will they be under Kano still? And who, of course, becomes perhaps the chairman, if you will allow me to go that way. But we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have more questions for you. Stay with us. Welcome back to State of the Nation. We're looking at the law establishing the Kano Emirate Council. In Kano State is the governor who's talking to us live here on State of the Nation. Your Excellency, which Emirate will be the chairman of this Council of Emirates? Is the Emirate of Kano, Gaya, and Karaye that are normally ranked 47, 48, and 49, if I'm getting that right, in hierarchy, going to be ranked above the Kano Emirates under this new law?
Well, as contained in the law, the 4 new Emirates are of equal status. They are all first-class emirs. That is, the Emir of Rono is first class, Emir of Gaya, first class, Emir of Karai, first class, and Emir of Vichy, first class. The law has provided for the Council of Chiefs so that they can have a forum to discuss issues pertaining to the development of the state and pertaining to whatever is being requested for them to do by the governor of the state. The issue of who will be the chairman, the governor will determine who will be the chairman. The chairmanship will be rotational, and according to the law, each chairman will chair the Council of Chiefs for 2 years, and then it is rotational, so another first-class emir will take over. So that is the arrangement according to the law. So now very soon, the governor will announce who will be the chairman of the Council of Chiefs, and that will continue for the next 2 years. That is the arrangement so far, and people are very, very happy with this arrangement because this arrangement increases the participation of the traditional institution in governance, especially now when the socio-economic and the security situation is getting not attractive.
That will be a good place to let it rest. I understand you have got so many engagements as well to attend to this evening. But I must thank you so much indeed for talking to us on the developments in Kano, especially the Emirates Council bill, which is now law. We must thank you so much indeed, Your Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje. But there is also a legal perspective to all of this. Abubakar Kurawa is the Secretary General of the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. He's going to be joining us just as quickly as we are able to establish that link with him. But everyone, this is what it is. The governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, has made it categorically clear that the chairmanship of the Kano State Emirate Council will be determined. He will announce that very soon in due course, and it will be a rotational form of a leadership that will be established for that reason, in which 2 years will go for each of the emirs of Kano, of Rano, of Gaya, and Karai. Those are what we understand will be coming through. But when he signed that bill, this is what he had to say.
The Emirate Council Bill 2019 was made in the public interest following a Kano High Court action that nullified the Emir's appointment and deposition amendment law, caption 36 laws of Kano State 2019, on the ground that the petition was presented to the Assembly by a private person who is not a member of the Kano State House of Assembly.
The governor of Kano State once more. But we're now being joined by Abubakar Kurawa, the Secretary General of Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. He joins us via telephone from Nasarawa State. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on State of the Nation. Does the government have a place in tradition? Because one wonders if this is a legislative matter or a traditional matter. You're a lawyer. Tell us what you think.
Well, good evening. Although it is a traditional matter per se, but as we are operating a democratic system of government that is established under the provisions of the Constitution, you cannot overrule the fact that the State Assembly also have power to legislate over any matter that pertains to the state. So as far as the law is concerned, there is inherent power that is already given to the State Assembly to make laws for the state and also to provide for any matter that relates to the state issues, whether it is traditional or otherwise.
What does the law say? What does the law say in the case of a pending case in courts in matters such as this one?
Well, you see, the law that governs the operation of state assembly as it pertains Kano State provides that, the rules of the State House of Assembly 2019 as it is, it provides that any issue that is presented to the House in form of a bill to be enacted into law, if that matter or an aspect of it has a case pending before a court, then that issue shall not be entertained until the matter has been resolved by a court. So in the instance, for example, there were 2 cases filed before Kano State High Court. One has been discharged, it has been decided upon, and the judgment is known to everybody. It dissolves the Emirate, the 4 Emirates that were created by the previous law enacted by the Assembly. On the premise of that, the State Assembly now the State government now sent a fresh bill to the State Assembly to make another law to regularize the mistake they made in the previous one. However, that cannot stand because up till today, as you know, there is also a matter pending before High Court 3 of Kano State, presided over by Justice Badamasi, and until that matter, as it pertains this issue, is resolved, then the entertainment of this bill or deliberation over it is a nullity as far as the law is concerned and as far as the provisions of the rules of that House of Assembly is concerned.
Abubakar Kurawa, the Secretary General of Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. I'm afraid that's the much we can take, considering the constraint in time that we have on the show. But I must thank you so much indeed for enlightening us a little bit more on what the legal implications of this bill, of this law is. Many thanks indeed. And to you for being a part of the show. Many thanks indeed for watching. I'm Gimba Umar, and this is State of the Nation.